Hello and welcome to another module on risk management. In this lesson, we'll go through the important terms and concepts used in Chapter 5. Let's look at them one by one. Bias. A preference or an inclination exhibited by the source of information, which inhibits impartial judgment during information gathering about risk. Types of bias which commonly affect the risk process include cognitive and motivational bias. Brainstorming. A common technique used in risk identification. It differs from standard brainstorming in that it's structured, usually using risk categories or risk breakdown structure. Effective application of this technique requires the participation of relevant stakeholders of the project, good facilitation to manage group dynamics, and commitment to non-biased, honest expression of ideas. Document review. The identification of risks through careful review of project documentation like a project charter, statement of work, contract terms and conditions, subcontracts, technical specifications, regulatory requirements, legal stipulations, etc. Emergent risk, a risk which arises later in a project and which could not have been identified earlier on. Identify risks, the process of determining which risks may affect the project and documenting their characteristics. Influence diagram. Diagrammatic representation of a project situation, showing the main entities, decision points, uncertainties, and outcomes, and indicating the relationships between them. Prompt list. A set of risk categories which can be used to stimulate risk identification, ensures coverage of all types of risk, may be used as framework for other techniques, but topics may be too high level. Risk exposure. A measure of overall project risk, describing the overall effect of identified risks on objectives. Risk metalanguage. A structured description of a risk which separates cause, effect, and risk. A typical description using risk metalanguage might take the form of something like this. Because of cause, risk might occur, which would lead to effect. Risk owner, the person responsible for ensuring that an appropriate response strategy is selected and implemented, and for determining suitable risk actions to implement the chosen strategy, with each risk action assigned to a single risk action owner. Risk register, the document containing the results of the qualitative risk analysis, quantitative risk analysis, and risk response planning. It details all identified risks with description, category and cause, probability of occurring, impact on objectives, proposed responses, owners, and current status. And that brings us to the end of Chapter 5, Identify Risks. In our next lesson, we'll begin with Chapter 6, Perform Qualitative Risk Analysis. Until then, goodbye, and thanks for watching.